I'm Christina Skaggs, and we have a really great Canvas apps training for you today. And so we hope that you are doing well and enjoying these last couple days before our break. And we have our other tech toasts here. Guys, if you'd like to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Hi, everyone. Teresa. Hi, everybody.
Good afternoon, I'm Gabriel.
Robert.
And Ricardo.
Thank you. And we see Dr. Cunningham is here too. Would you like to open us up this afternoon?
Oh, it would be my pleasure. Looks like we have 46 of us in so far, and I'm sure more are coming. Thank you so much on behalf of our whole district for everything that you've been doing. You made it this far. We have a few more days until winter break. And I have to just share that I'm so excited to get to teach tomorrow. Yes, virtual learning. One of our own teachers has invited me to teach in her classroom tomorrow for a little bit in the morning. And I know it's going to be the best part of my week. So thank you for everything you're doing to share with your students, our community. Every day it is a lot of work, and we really appreciate what you're doing. And we thank you for being with us here for our training today, and keep up the great work. We're proud of you. You are all heroes, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Dr. C. And we're going to actually jump right in. Robert is going to get us started.
Okay, great. Okay, so the first app that we've added into your Canvas courses is this Adobe Spark. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Host disable participant screen sharing.
Try it again, Robert.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let's see here. Can you see my Canvas course? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go into Adobe Spark. I'll kind of show you what it's all about, but Adobe Spark is a way to have your students maybe create like videos and posters and other web pages, and maybe do their projects like that versus using Google Slides or Docs or other things like that. So I'll kind of show you how to get started, and then I think the first part about how to get registered and get started is the hardest part. So I think it'd be a good idea if you wanted to follow along, and I'll give you some time to actually do what I'm doing here, and then once everything's assigned, then we'll go over how to use it, and then what it looks like from the student and from the teacher point of view. But when you're in your assignments, I've made a little section called Spark here, but you can go ahead and add in your assignment. So I'm just going to call this Spark 2.0, and we're going to give it a due date, and we're going to give it 10 points. And let's go to more options. And then when it comes to submission type, this is the first thing that you're gonna have to make sure is correct, where the submission type is gonna be an online submission. And let's see, online, sorry, this thing's in the way here. And it's gonna be a website URL. And so when they're done with their project, the student is going to, copy their link, and they're going to paste it in there for you. And that'll get you to their projects. Okay, we have everything there, due date. Okay, and then how you're going to access this is through the rich text editor. And if you go to the little plug icon under your apps, then you'll see you can view all, but you'll have the option for Adobe Spark. So we're going to select that. Okay, all right, and it's not letting me select it. Hold on, there we go. And the first time you use this, you might not be logged in, so it's going to have you authorize your account. And when you sign in, you're not going to use this, Google, button that we are able to use for other things. You're going to want to enter in your HLP email to this this top section, and you're going to hit continue. And that's because it's going to register with our school district. So don't use personal account, use your company or school account. And then it'll take you into Adobe Spark. Okay, so I think we'll pause right there. And if any of you want to do the same thing that we just did to register correctly, please take about 2 minutes. Let me just kind of quickly go over what we did again. We went into an assignment. And we made sure that we did the online submission type as the website URL, the online. We put in all our dates and points, and we will connect it using this rich text editor and using Adobe Spark. And then go ahead and again sign up with your HLP USD, not through Google, and authorize your account. So about maybe about 2 minutes for that. Okay. Okay, so once you've logged everything and you created your assignment, you're gonna see this first page, this Adobe Spark page, and I'm gonna go ahead and create new, and just to show you all the different things that your students can possibly make. So they have the option of making a page or like a post or a video. They can make posters, flashcards, blogs. There's a lot of different formats that they could do, and this Adobe Spark makes it fairly easy. So let's kind of go into how you would pick one and then send it to that assignment. So if you were to hover over these, and I think these are kind of like the main ones I would use, probably like a video or make a poster or something like that. You could either go to attach, and this will send a blank copy to your assignment, or you could maybe go to customize, and you could start with maybe giving them like the first slide or some kind of starter, and then that would get sent to them from your account. Every student would have their own copy, and they could go from there. But let's just go ahead and make a blank one. So I'm going to hit attach here. And that was under video. And then when you hit attach, it's gonna, send this to their account. And when they open it up, it's gonna look like this. They're gonna hit make a copy, and they'll get to start working on their video. So let's go ahead and save and publish that. Okay, and then let's go into what the student perspective looks like. So let's go in here and let's refresh. Okay, here we go. So Spark 2.0, that's the assignment. I'm the student right now, and I'm going into my assignment. And it should load up here. It's just going to take a second. There we go. And then your student's going to go ahead and make a copy. And it's going to have them probably register as well. So they're going to sign in the same way you did using their email address. Not creating an account. Hold on, let me go back. And then once they use their HLP USD email to get in, it's going to bring up the assignment that they copied for them.
So do they have to log in with their @HLP USD account?
I mean, Ricardo, maybe help me out with this one.
Yes, we have set
is it
up
because it's through Canvas?
we have set up their corporate account through Office 365 credentials, so hlpusd.k12.ca.us. You do want them to use that specific account because the hlpnet.net it's not set up to share documents or share assignments. So when Robert created that assignment as a online submission, I think it was a link. The kids will not be able to share that with you unless they use the hlpusd.k12.ca.us.
Okay, so they're getting in, and it can kind of show you like a little bit of tips here, but I'm just gonna go and hit okay, I'm ready. And this is the format for their video. So when it comes to video, it's like a slideshow. It kind of reminds me of that old Microsoft what was it, that like video maker, where they kind of drop things into little slides. And so they'll select their first slide, and it has the options here of video, text, photos. Pretty straightforward. So if their project was on let's say koalas, they can make that as their title slide, and then it's going to save it. It's going to set the time there, and they could just go on to their next slide. And this is the credits, so they can kind of or they can get rid of stuff. If they wanted to make more, they could just hit this little plus button, and it's going to add in slides for them. So they have the option of adding in video, photos. Let's go ahead and add in a photo. They're just going to select the photo icon there, and then over here on the right side, they can either upload their own photo, or they can take a photo or find free photos. So and it lets them search, and it'll bring up photos for them to just easily select and to bring in. If they want to add in, video, we'll just add one real fast. They can select this, and they'll select video, and it'll, want them to bring up whatever video they might have recorded. So in order to do that, they would go down here and search for camera. And then it'll bring up the camera app, which will let them record video, and then they can find that video and then easily upload it to their project as well. Other options are over here on the top right side, where they have the layout, the theme. So let's say on this first slide or the second slide, I wanted to make it a split screen. I can just select that, and it's going to automatically make it two sides. And now I can add some information about the koalas. So like koalas sleep 20 hours a day. And then they could just select their next slide and go on to the next one. Maybe they want to change the theme, so they would just select theme. They can change the color. They can change the font. Let's see. So let's go down and select this one. And it's going to go ahead and change all my fonts to that, or all of the titles to that font that I selected. They could also add music to their presentation. So let's just pick one, Stroll in Central Park. Or if they have their own music up here, it says add my music, they can, upload their own music. And then at any time, if they want to check how things are going, there's this play button over here on the left side. They can select that. And it'll just preview their video for them. So everything's pretty much there, straightforward on how to use that. And so let's say that your student liked that. Well, then when they're ready to turn it in, they can go to share. And I'm not sure why. I think because I'm using a teacher account, so that's why it's not giving me this option.
No, you need to publish it first.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go publish.
There it is.
Okay. This one right here, this update link.
Just copy the link right there.
Oh, okay. Right, right. That's how I would do it with the URL. But on the other one, Ricardo, I saw there was an option to post it directly to Canvas.
It's not working yet, but it is
Not working
coming. Yeah.
Okay, I saw it there, yeah, under my account, but yeah, okay. So for right now, yeah, they're just sharing, they're publishing, they're getting that link, and then they can go back to their assignment, and then they can post their URL here and submit. Okay, and then we're gonna go back to the teacher account. Let's see, here it goes. Let's go ahead and refresh this. And I have 0 out of 1 submissions, so let's go into SpeedGrader. Let's see how that looks. And it's not showing here, but if you click this up here, then it'll show it for you inside of SpeedGrader. And you can play their video. And it's only 4 seconds, so I must not have saved it correctly, but it's there, and you can give them their grade and some comments. Good job, and submit. Okay. All right, and that's pretty much it. So I think maybe for like the next 5 minutes, because I know that there's a lot to this Adobe Spark, but I'd like you guys to go into there and play around, maybe make your own video. And let me just kind of show you guys how to get in there. And yeah, it'd be fun to kind of play around with that. So I'm in my assignments. And then we have our Spark. We're going to go into that assignment. All right, and then let's see. Yeah, you can just make a copy of your own video. That'd probably be the fast way to get in there. And then if you want to just go ahead and play around with making your own video, or you could always go back out to the home page in this top left home box, and maybe pick another one like an Instagram post or a web page presentation, whatever you want to do. But I think about 5 minutes would be a good amount to play with it, just so you get the idea of what your students would be doing. Okay. And if you have any questions, just please let us know. And let's see, team, was there anything else maybe you would want to mention about Spark? Other kind of uses?
We'll be taking a look at Spark a little bit further later when we take a look at Badger. So just note that you'll see other uses as well for the teacher.
Robert, is this Adobe Spark is just a more creative way for students to submit video assignments?
Right, yeah, and it's fairly, I mean, there's less editing. I mean, it's more like it's a slideshow that kind of gets put together into like a video, but then each slide you can add, your own, text or photos. You can record audio over it too. So if you want to narrate the video, yeah, and I think it's just very simple to use, and it's a little bit more fun than, or easier and more fun to use than trying to edit your own video. Yeah.
And it actually allows them to do social graphics. If you want them to make a poster for something, maybe they read a book and you want them to create a poster. You also have the short videos, and you also have, they can create their own web pages too. So they have the 3 options with Adobe Sparks.
Yeah, and all of the different ones slightly have, slightly different themes and, graphics on how they move around. So like, for example, let me go into one of my accounts here.
I have a question.
Sure.
Can the teacher create a template, like for example, a story, and then the students can just record their voice and retell the story if the teacher creates a template for them?
Yes, yes. So you can go in there, and there was an option to just attach, and then that would give them like the blank, video slides. But you can also go in there and make one, and then you would share that with the students. So like, for example, this one right here, this is my post, and this is an Instagram video, or an Instagram post, kind of like that same box style that you would post on your social media.
Robert, while you're doing that right now, I'm just going to, because of the sake of time, we have so much to cover and we're already behind at this point. So continue what you're doing, but if we can save our questions and put them in the document, please, just so we could be respectful of everyone's time. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah. So this one is the Instagram post, and you have like the option to make logos. You have different ways of animating. So this animation wouldn't be in your video, but it's in this style as well, on how like the words are going to come in and how it's going to flash and things like that. So that's kind of fun. And then let's see here. And then share, under share. Oh, here's the turn into canvas that they'll see later. But yeah, from home, I believe. Where is it? Projects. It's weird where that one was. After you made it, I forget exactly where. Let's see. Oh, okay. If you wanted to share one that you've already made, I would go into Spark first, and then make it, and then make your assignment. And then once you first get into Spark, then there's the ability to attach that one that you just made. But afterwards, it's a little funny. So that's the way that I would do it. Okay. All right, Teresa, do we need to move on?
Yeah,
Yes,
let's go ahead and
Okay.
move
All right.
on.
Sounds good.
If you stop sharing, Robert, that'll be great.
Okay.
Thank you. So I just put a document on the chat, and what I want you to see is in there you will find most of the apps that we are going to cover today, along with some support videos that we have on our YouTube channel in case you wanted to use any of them. But I wanted to kind of go over what these apps are. So apps are just an easy way to add new features to Canvas. They can be added to individual courses like you will be doing with Flipgrid today. But you saw Adobe Spark was an app that was added at the district level. So you didn't have to add it. Some of them are added at the district level and some of them are added by you per course. So just to give you an idea of that document that I share with you, right here, you have the document. And it will actually give you an idea of which app it is and what it does. And if we have any support videos, you'll have them in there too. So I know Robert covered Adobe Spark, so it'll be in there somewhere. Here's Turnitin, here's Badgers, which we're gonna do later. But I know all of the Discovery, which you'll see today, Paradeck, but they're all in here, okay? So this will give you an idea of what they do and how they are used. And if we have a video on them, they will be right in that document that we just shared. I'm going to talk about something that is very useful in Canvas. It's called the redirect tool. And I'm just going to go to a Canvas course, just so you see it. And in here, the way you will add an app that is not pushed by the district is by going down to the bottom to settings. And you've probably done this before. And once you get there, you want to go to apps. And that's where I am right now. And if you had to individually add something like Flipgrid, you will do it from here. The one that I'm going to use is the one that a lot of you guys probably use to create your Zoom link. Some of you guys did it through a icon or a picture, but I'm going to show you how to use the redirect tool. So I'm going to look for it. Okay, and when I just type redirect tool, it's going to be right here. Just so you know, you can have more than one redirect tool in your course navigation. Okay, so I'm going to click that one. Okay, what does this do? It basically creates a link on your course navigation for our students to have easy access to something that you always use. For instance, for me, I love using quizzes. I also love using Kahoot, but let's just use quizzes. This is the one that I want to use. Okay, so I'm going to go to quizzes. I want my students to just be able to click on something and get to the page where they just enter the code for quizzes. So I'm just going to copy that. I'm going to go back to my course and I'm going to set add app. And when I add the app, I can change the name and I'm just going to call it quizzes. Okay, and it's going to ask what the website is, which is the one that I copied before, and I'm just going to throw it in there. Okay, and over here you have some options, and if you want the students to be able to see it on your course navigation, I will recommend that you say show in course navigation. And when you do that, you're going to go ahead and add the app. Okay, and then you're going to notice that if I refresh this, my quizzes should be here. It's right there. So from now on, I can just tell the kids, go ahead and go to quizzes, right? Click on it, okay? Open, and it automatically is going to take them to that particular site. So I could do the same thing if I had another, maybe I use Kahoot all the time or quizzes or anything that I use all the time in my class. I can simply add it to my course navigation by going to settings, going to look for the redirect tool. Again, I can add them as many times as I want to. I can go add app, and now I just change the name, right? Now maybe this is Kahoot. And I use the website, and I want to make sure that when I add it, it shows in course navigation. So this is an app that just gives you the ability to add any links on your course navigation for Canvas. It's pretty easy to use, and you also have the video on that document that I share. So with that, I'm going to pass it on to Teresa, who's going to continue. Thank you.
Okay, hey everybody. I'm just have to adjust some of my screens right now. If you give me a moment. Okay, everyone. So I'm going to be going over Pear Deck in Canvas today, and last minute we were throwing things around trying to make this the best experience for you. So just hang in there with me. If I make any mistakes, please forgive me, and text, please feel free to interrupt me at any time. And again, everyone, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the document and we'll make sure to address those at the end. We do have a packed training today, so we're gonna get moving right now. Let me share my screen with you. All right. Here we go. So we're going to start with actually the creation of your Pear Deck. I know most of us have attended the Pear Deck trainings, so we're not going to go over everything, but we are going to touch it just about 10 minutes right now to touch on how to actually create these Pear Deck slides. And then after that, we're going to go into Canvas and show you how to assign them there and how the experience is for the kids. Okay, so here I am in a regular, in slides in Google. You can do it in Google and you can also do it in PowerPoint. So if you're familiar with the other, don't worry. It in essence works the same. Okay, so just a little bit of review here. If you don't have the add-on, you would go to the add-on and you would click on Get Add-ons. And then you would select Pear Deck. It's right here. It's the second one because it's the second most requested one right now. But if you don't see it there because times change, you can go ahead and type in Pear Deck and then you can install it from there. Okay, and if you already have it installed, then you would go to your add-ons, you would click on Pear Deck, and then you would open it and a window will open up over here on the right side. And here we are ready to go. Okay, so you can go to any of your existing slides that you already have, and you can make them interactive by using these tools on the right, creating text, multiple choice, numbers, websites, drag, draw, and drag. If you have slides that already have Pear Deck attached to them, you'll see the little at the bottom here, you can see there's a little pear. I think they call him Perry. You'll see Perry there letting you know that this slide will work interactively with your students when you assign it. But if they're blank, then they're just a regular slide that you're giving instructions. So just gonna check my time right now. Okay, so I'm gonna take a moment just to take you through a few of these. So let's say I have this slide right here. What did you learn today? And I want my kids to type something in to this slide. So what I can do is on the tool on the right, I can go to text because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for text and it's working on it for me. And there it is. Now I could see at the bottom, now this is a slide where the students will actually be able to enter text in, okay? You can alter anything here. You can change your text. You can even move. If you don't like Perry down here at the bottom for whatever reason, you can move it. You can even take it off the screen if you don't want it on the screen for your kids, but do not delete it, because if you delete it, you delete the link to using Pear Deck. So once I remove this, it turns into a regular slide. So again, you can move this anywhere you want, even off the screen if you don't want the kids to see it, but don't delete that or it will turn into a regular slide, okay? So that in essence is the same. You can turn it into a multiple choice, into choices, sorry, not multiple choice, numbers. You can add a website, which is great. You can actually click on website and it embeds it in to the slide, which is great. So it doesn't take them anywhere else. Okay. Another one, which is a big one I didn't want to miss, is I know a lot of you were wanting to create your worksheets and make them clickable. And a lot of us have purchased Kami. That's great. But if you didn't, or even if you have, this is a great option for you. So you can get your worksheet and put it into a slide. For me, I would probably change the dimensions of the slide so that it's the actual size of a worksheet, which is 8.5 by 11. I know I'm going through this quickly. I'm sorry. I would do it in page setup and I would change my custom 8.5 by 11. So my slides are actually the size of a worksheet. Anyways, that's just being nitpicky at this point. So I can go ahead and just bring it in. I love taking pictures of it using on my phone. I would take a picture of the worksheet. If I don't have it digitally, I would take a picture. I would stick it in Keep or any way you want to put it in here. And I just dragged it in. That's all I did pretty much. And so I want my kids to be able to type anywhere they want on the slide. So I would select draw and then you'll see it's working on it right now. And then now this just turned into a slide where they can draw anywhere they want. So they can go in here and they could show their answers. They could type things in. They can just draw it. That's a great feature. Okay. Another one that before I move on, oh, I'm checking my time. Okay. So the next one is drag. So here's a sample right here. Maybe I want them to drag something, so drag the icon to the precipitation stage. So they have to find which one is this precipitation stage and they would drag the little dot there to be, and it would know if it's correct. So I would do that and I would just click on draggable and then it will process that for me. So you can go ahead and take your own time to go through here. You can choose how many dots you want. You could choose the color. You could choose what icon you want, and then it will update the slide. Okay, so those are things you would do with your own slides. All right, you also have the option, we do have the premium version, so we have the option of adding audio, which is very important for the students who may struggle with reading the text. We do have immersive reader as well, but if you want them to hear your voice, because you know they ask you like 20 times, how do I do this? How do I do this? Or you're like, well, just play the button, because you can read the instructions with your own voice and they could hear what you want them to do. Okay, so that's another one too. All right, so let's say you didn't have slides you want to work with. You actually want to use some templates they have. I have 3 minutes to show you this. Okay, so I can go up here to template library and open the template library. And here you have beginning of lesson templates, during, end of lesson. You also have your social emotional learning here. You could pick from here. You have, you can have it by subject matter as well. So you could find things that already exist that you can bring in. I'm just going to show you one. We'll just go into social emotional learning because you can peruse through this on your own time. So these are great ones right here. Stress check. If I click on that, it will insert it where I am. So just giving it a moment. We wait in suspense and here it is. So this exists and you could see little Perry at the bottom. So you know that this will be interactive for the kids. Okay, so you can go through any of these templates, bring them in. You can move them around. Over here on the left, you could see me moving the slides. I can delete them. You're in full control here. Okay, so that was a quick review on what to do. And if you are unsure, if you didn't hear anything I said because I talk super fast, we do have 3 videos that we've created just for this. So we have a video that shows you exactly what I taught you right now, but it goes more in depth in all the different tools. We have another video that just talks about making your worksheets interactive. So just about creating worksheets, whether they're digital or they're in the workbooks. And then another video showing you how to link all of this into Canvas, which is what I'm about to go over right now. So if in case you missed any of it, don't be afraid. The videos already exist. You can go in there and watch them, okay? So now I'm gonna go ahead and bring you into Canvas. So here I am in Canvas right now, and I'm just gonna make this assignment with you watching, and then we're gonna give you a moment to participate, okay? So let me move this toolbar. All right, so as you all know, you can create assignments in the modules, and you can also create assignments from assignments. And in essence, it's the same thing. I'll go ahead and just make it from assignments because that's where I am right now. I'm just going to call this Pear Deck demonstration. Here we go. You give directions here. Directions in the slides. Okay, you can give any instructions there. You assign points. This is you are all pro at this at this point. Okay, put it in the right group. How do you want it displayed? If you want it to count towards a grade or not. This is an external tool, so make sure you select external tool. You don't have to install Pear Deck. It's already there for you. So you find it, and then we find Pear Deck, which is right here. Select how many attempts, who do you want it to be assigned to? I just have best practice always to be putting a due date at this point now that we see what it does with our terms view. So I'm just going to best practice. I'm just going to select some dates. Okay, and I'm just going to save that and show you what happens. Okay, so we purposely did this so that you see what would happen. All right, so this is my very first time, or pretend my very first time. It's asking me to log on to Pear Deck. So I'm going to click on login. And now it's asking me if I want to use Google or Microsoft. So they both work. Don't be afraid to choose one. But if you feel like you're going to be working more with your Google Slides, then you would choose Google. If you're going to be working more with PowerPoint, then you can choose Microsoft. And if you decide later, like, oh, I don't know, it's not set in stone, but it would be good to know where to start. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on Google because most of my existing slides are there already. So I'm just going to click on that, and then I was already signed into Google in another window, so I didn't have to sign in. But if you weren't, it would ask you which Google account you want to connect it to, and you as a teacher would use your HLP USD, your Google account that you use for the district. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and select the file that I'm going to. Oh, here it is. Just kidding, I got excited. So now it's asking me which Google account. Oh no, just kidding. Got excited for a moment. All right, so let me choose the one I want to use. And here I have a choice now. So do I want this to be student paced, which means that the students are going to go through this at their own pace. We could do this asynchronously. They could do it while I'm there, but they're going to all go at different paces, okay? You can choose instructor paced, which means that you are going to control their view of the slides. So as they answer, you see their answers coming in, and then when you feel ready, then you move on to the next slide, and that moves everyone on at once. So it's up to you, but don't be afraid. We're going to choose instructor pace right now so that you see that experience, and then I'm going to switch it over to student pace. So let's say you start a class and you do instructor pace, but you run out of time, then at that point you could switch it to student pace so that they can finish it on their own, and that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and choose instructor pace. And it's loading. Here we go. So this is my teacher view still. So before I leave this view, let me just show you a few things. So here's the beginning of my slides. I can go through and kind of look at my slides to see, make sure it's what I want. Down here at the bottom right, there's the 3 dots, or the snowman, we like to call it, next to the end. If I click on that, that gives you some options here. So I can make this full screen, maybe I'm doing this with my students, and even though they're doing it on another screen, maybe I want to show the whole thing. Okay, you can also open the teacher dashboard in a new window. You can open it on another device. And from here, like I said, you can turn on student paste if you change your mind. Okay, I can also end this session as well. Okay, or right here, I could hit end as well. Okay, all right. Let me just check if I missed anything. Okay, so from here, we're going to take a quick pause before I get you in as students. I'm going to bring you into the Pear Deck website. And the reason for that is I need you to see the settings that you can adjust that are very important. So I'm just going to open up a new tab here, and I'm going to go to the Pear Deck website. And here I am. And I'm already logged in because I logged in earlier. So you could see I have a session in progress. I'm just going to go ahead and close that. All right. So since I'm here, just so you know, when you're on the Pear Deck website, you can go over to sessions on the left. See that there's home. The second one that says sessions, click on that. And you can see that I have a live session. So the one that I just started with you is this first one. I started at 1:42. You could see that's there. I can click on it and I can view. So here's some options: classroom view, teacher dashboard view. So if people are actually responding, I can look at that through here. These 3 dots, I could again turn in student paste. I could end the session. I could name it, and I can archive it as well. Okay. One last thing while I'm here. Up here where my profile is, the top right, I can go to my account. And here I am at my account. I can go to settings, and this is what we were discussing. This is really important for you to know. So you can turn on classroom climate. So classroom climate asks them how they're doing before it starts. So if you want to know how they're doing before any of your presentations start, you could turn that on. I have it on right now, and you're going to see that in a moment when you participate. Immersive reader. And if you're not familiar with immersive reader, it takes any of your text and it can read it to the students. The students have the ability to change the text or to translate and all of that. We suggest turning that on. It wasn't default as on. So keep that in mind that you should be turning that on, everyone, if you want that. We don't have Google Classroom on. We do have takeaways. Publish a personal view of doc for each student. Requires student logons. That is on, and we recommend you keep that on, because if it requires your student logins, it does allow you to go in and to grade them and everything. So we do suggest, and if you do that, they're going to log on using their Google credential. Okay, not their Microsoft, the actual Google credentials. All right. All right, let's head back over to Canvas. Check my time right now. Okay. All right, here we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to ask you to join as students so that as you go through the process, then I could show you the teacher view and you could see how it looks on both ends. Okay, so Ricardo, if you don't mind, can you? It's there. It is there. Wow, thank you. Okay, so everybody, I think Ricardo had put the join link for the class on the side. Go ahead and do that. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stick this assignment into the module. Okay. All right, there it is. Okay, so I want everyone to go ahead and go into modules and click on this assignment. If it asks you to log into your Pear Deck, go ahead and do that. And as you do that, I'm going to go ahead and check on my dashboard and see how it looks from my end. Okay. I'll give you a moment. So this is what it looks like from the teacher's end. And I'm presenting right now, so this is just for fun. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next slide. So those of you who are here already, now you are able to go through this slide. And it tells me, if you can see my view on another screen, you can see how many responses are coming through right now. And I could see the students' answers as well. Okay, and you can't move on to another slide because I chose instructor paste. Okay, so I can. Okay, I see stress check, and I think for the most part, we're in a good space, and we have some or a few who can't manage their emotions. I'm so sorry. Take a deep breath. Okay, so when I feel ready, I can go ahead and move on to the next one. So I'm just going to go to the next one. Right here. This is a different kind. So I'm moving on, and then hopefully you're able to answer some of these questions. What is filling your bucket today and what's draining it? You can be honest, but we are in a work environment, so. You can add what's filling, you can add what's draining it, you can draw. All right. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this into student paste. And there's only, I think, 2 more questions for you to do. So I'm going to go ahead and click on turn on student paste. And at this point, you should be able to fill out the rest without me. So I don't have to click through. You can actually go through and see it, do it on your own. Okay. So let's take a moment to do that. I think I'm pretty good on time because I talked so fast. Hopefully you had a chance. The remaining questions are okay. So here I am. Oh, I'm on the 3rd slide right here, and you can see the responses coming through. It was give a thank you to someone, and we have some thank yous coming to the Tosas. I need my tissues right now. Thank you, everybody. You guys are really, you're why we're here. So I'll read these later with my tissues. Okay, the last slide was, what are you looking forward to most during winter break? And I see here for jigsaw puzzles, cleaning my house. Can you come over to my house? No canvas. Oh, I had a feeling that was coming because that's my dream too. All right, so a lot of great and fun things here, everybody. So you could see how useful this really is from the teacher's end and also for the students as well. It's an amazing tool that works right with Canvas for us. Okay, so before I let the next person speak, let me just go over a few more things. So I'm going to go into my grades right now. If you're still answering, it's fine, but I'm going to move on if you don't mind. Okay, so I'm going to go into my grades, and just so you see, since I made that assignment, it created an assignment for it, Pear Deck demo, and then you can go in here. Oh, no, it's this one over here because I published it. So you can go in here and you can give scores for what the students have done. But what if you're just using it as an instructional tool? What if it's just a formative assessment and you don't want to worry about grades? You're just using it to see how the kids are understanding what you're teaching at the moment. You don't have to use it as an assignment. And I'm going to show that to you right now. So let me go ahead and go back into modules. So from modules, you can assign your Pear Deck as a tool and not an assignment. So you don't have to worry about the grades. So how do you do that? You can go over here to plus, and then you're going to add external tool. I'm going to go a little slower here because I could see some of you writing right now. And if you didn't know this already, this is a great thing that I learned, and I learned it from Ricardo's video. So in case you miss it, you can watch the video. So I'm in modules. I'm adding an external tool. And then from here, I'm going to Pear Deck, add item, and then it looks like a link. So let me go ahead and click on that. I'm going to select the file now. I'm just going to choose the same one just for demonstration purposes. You don't have to actually do it again. I'm just going to stick that in here. I'll just say student paste. And that's it. So now it's in here just like before, but now it won't show up as an assignment. So I don't have to worry about grading it, and I don't have to worry about it hurting the students' grades or anything. So just so you know, that's a way to go through the same process, but it won't count towards their work. Okay, so I know that was so much information, and there's so much more I actually want to share, but I just want to be respectful of time. And Tech, is there anything I missed there that you want to make sure I didn't miss with Pear Deck and Canvas?
Someone asked a question about when they see their answers, they don't see the names. You actually have to be in your teacher dashboard to be able to see their names with their answers. Obviously, we don't want to embarrass any kids while you're showing the answers to the rest of the class, so it won't show who answered that. But if you go to the teacher dashboard, you'll see the names of the people that answered each question.
Perfect. And I think you can adjust that as well. Yes, right. Because you want the kids to feel free to answer, but not really be judged by other students. So that's a good point. Good question. Good question. Anything else? All right, everyone. So again, thank you so much for hanging here with us. We have a lot more great things. So who's up next? I think it's Christina.
That's me, yes.
All right, let me
All
stop.
right, thank you, Teresa. We're going to move forward with moving on to Flipgrid. And I know that we have done some previous things on Flipgrid. However, we're going to kind of jump into what Flipgrid looks like in Canvas and how it's different. And if you already have a Flipgrid account, great, awesome. If you have not integrated it yet with Canvas, I would encourage you to go ahead and open up your Flipgrid account now. And for those of you who would like to follow along and create a Flipgrid account, I'm going to go ahead and post a link in the chat for you to go ahead and get onto your Flipgrid educator login. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here with you so that you can see what that might look like as you go to that website. You're going to see enter, join a code. You're going to see, are you guys able to see my screen, or am I sharing my screen of you guys? 1 minute here. Let's see. Screen 2 is what I want. There we go. All right. Are you able to see my text hostess? Can you see my?
We see your screen, but we also see the entire display in terms of everyone's picture.
How about now? Can you see it?
You're good now.
Okay, perfect. I just needed to close you guys out of there. Awesome. So if you don't already have a Flipgrid account, you can actually go ahead and sign up for one. So you click the educator sign up here. And if you do already have one, then you can go ahead and hop into your account, because we're actually going to need to integrate our Canvas with our Flipgrid in order for that to work. So if you go into your educator account and you sign in, you will get to your main screen that will look like this, okay? And you're gonna need some information over here in the top right-hand corner, which is where your login account information is, okay?
Christina, can I mention that if you do not have an account, we encourage you to use the Office 365. Flipgrid is a tool that belongs to Office 365, so a lot of the newer features always come out to Office 365 or Microsoft before they come out to Google. Perfect.
Thank you, Ricardo. So you would click on educator. Oh, it brought me into mine because I'm already signed in, but just know that you should use your Office 365 to go ahead and log in there. Okay. And if you want to go ahead and add your Flipgrid to a course, we're going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my super cool 4th grade class. And one of the reasons that you might want to do this integration through Canvas is that with Flipgrid, you have the immersive reader option through Canvas, which is really neat for your students. And right now, if you just are using Flipgrid on your own through the regular website, it requires the students to log in every time or to access a code, right, to be able to do their grids. With Canvas integration, it will not ask them to sign in every time, which is really neat. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. And also, if you do your integration through Canvas, you're able to access SpeedGrader and grade it right then and there. So a lot of great reasons to go ahead and integrate it. So once you're in your course that you'd like to connect your Flipgrid account to, you're going to go ahead and go to Settings. And you're going to go ahead and go to Apps, kind of very similar to what Ricardo was showing us with the Redirect app. Okay, and you can filter by name, so you can go ahead and just type in Flipgrid. Okay, and it's the first one that comes up. So you're going to go ahead and click on that, and you want to add the app. So you're just adding it to this course. And this is the part where you might get stuck. Okay, it's asking for a consumer key and shared secret. And you're like, well, I don't have that. Well, that's why we needed to create our Flipgrid account first. Okay, so within your Flipgrid account, on the top right-hand corner, it's going to have all your account information, and you're going to click on that and then click on integrations. Okay, this is where it's going to give you the shared secret and the consumer code. Now, I already have one of my classes, the Tectosa PD class course associated with Flipgrid. So it's going to show any of those previous courses that you have. But if you're brand new and you're doing this for the first time, you're going to need to add a new integration. Okay. And for this one is going to be called Super Cool 4th grade class. And so I will just name it so that I know which one is which. And you're going to click create. And then it's going to come up with a consumer key and a shared secret for that course. So now I can attach that, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and copy the consumer key. And then I'm gonna go back to my Canvas course and then just go ahead and paste it there. And then for the shared secret, you're gonna end up doing the same thing. So I'm gonna copy that. And I'm gonna go back to my Canvas course and I'm gonna paste it. Okay, now that's going to create the integration between your actual account and Canvas, and I'm going to go ahead and add app. Okay, and if you want to make sure that it's there, you can go ahead and go to your, let's go home. I'm going to refresh my page really quickly. And when you're there, you can go back to settings, and it should show up in your navigation here. And it's going to show up down here. Usually when you add an app, it shows up down at the bottom. And this is fine here because I don't really want my students to be able to see Flipgrid in my navigation. As you can see on the left-hand side here, it's not showing. Because if they're able to access it through that side navigation, then it's not actually going to be an assignment that you've created. So it won't go to SpeedGrader. It will not get shown there for them. So it's best just to take it off your navigation, okay? If you do have it on your navigation now and you'd like to switch it so that it moves down to the bottom, then all you really have to do is drag and drop so that your students are unable to see it, okay? So now that I have added it into my, my area here, it will be a choice for me to create an assignment later, okay? So I'm gonna click save. And then you can, like I said, just go back and check your settings and make sure that it's still there. But before we move into how we actually create an assignment in Canvas, I wanna share with you some of the information that is here as far as settings go for Flipgrid, okay? So right now, when you first log in to your account, you're able to see your topics, okay? So think of your grid as like your classroom. So that's where you're gonna share all your information to your students. And think of the topics that you're gonna create as sort of your different assignments that you're gonna want your students to participate in, okay? There is an option for groups here. As you can see, I've created a Tectosa group for a different class, but you do have options. So say if you wanted to do small groups and you're having different groups that you're gonna assign different grids to, you do have the option to create that in groups. You would just create a group and then you can share certain topics to those groups, okay? But if you were going to create a topic, you can just go ahead and add topic here. And you're going to be asked for a title, okay? And so you could say, let's see, holiday break. Maybe I want my students to share winter break. Let's be a little winter break, right? And then add a question to start your discussion. So technically Flipgrid is going to be a place where students can get information from each other, right? Watch each other's videos and hopefully comment and create some discussion pieces. So add a question to start your discussion. Let's say, what are you most looking forward to over break? Okay, and you have about 1,000 characters to be able to type what you'd like your students to do. You do have the option to record, have them record a video or upload a video, right? You could have them upload an image and you just get to decide, how you want to do that, okay? So if I decide that I'm going to have them upload an image, I have some permissions, and this is really important when you're creating your different topics and grids, okay? Students join using their Microsoft or Google School email, that's perfect, but when you have them do it in Canvas, they're not going to have to sign in at all, so that will be null and void. Add or edit allow emails, you can add those there if you were doing this on your own. And then also the essentials for topic moderation. So this is very important when new videos come in. You want to hide them until you activate them, maybe until your students get the hang of how it's going and how to use Flipgrid. And then you can go ahead and check that. So that way you have the ability to confirm or deny each posting, okay? You also have the ability to have a recording time. So if you know that it's going to take your students quite a while to do a book review or something that it might take a longer than a minute and 30 seconds, then you have the ability to change that there as well. And also students can respond to other students using a video and text. So you have the option to change that. Maybe you want video only comments, or maybe you want text only, and you can also choose none as well, okay? There are some more options as well. So if you wanted to add an attachment, you could do that and add the title. So maybe you're having them comment on, a PDF that you put up there on, a picture or an image or a piece of writing, something like that. You also have the status. So if you want to have your topic status active, so that means everyone can see it, or if you want to freeze it, or you can hide it. Then you also have the ability to schedule the dates here. And again, if you're doing this through Canvas, you probably wouldn't need to do that, as you're going to be setting your assignment dates and times through Canvas as well. But notifications, if you want to know when people are submitting things, you have the ability to change that as well. Daily, weekly, every new video, or never. Maybe you just want to go on Canvas and see if it's done or not. Topic followers, they can get email notifications as well. Video features, so if you want them to be able to have the ability to do selfies and videos, selfies only or only videos. And then they also have the option to have the students be able to edit or delete or rearrange their responses as well. That can definitely be beneficial. And likes, students are allowed to like other videos, or if they're able to see how many views their video had. If they're able to add sticky notes throughout their video, that was kind of a neat feature that we're going to look at in just a moment when we look at what it looks like from the student view. And then obviously download and share, and then creating feedback, right? So you can create basic feedback where you're able to express your ideas and type back to them, which is also through SpeedGrader on Canvas. Or you can do a custom feedback, which is kind of neat because you can actually create your own rubric. So I like my settings. I'm going to go ahead and leave it. And then once you click create topic, please find an address highlighted in red. What did I do wrong? Oh, because I asked for student email. So this is where you would just need to have them put whatever domain. So at HLP USD. Tectosas, should we do HLP USD or the HLP net? Here, if they're
so you only are required to do this if you are having the kids do a Flipgrid outside of Canvas. But if we are going to do it through Canvas, which puts it on your SpeedGrader, you wouldn't create the topic here. You will do it inside of Canvas as you create the assignment, and right there you will be able to, the kids will automatically be able to sign in with their Office 365 or Google credentials already in there. Because
right, I'm going to go ahead and go over that. So, but if they were doing it on their own, does it matter which they put here for the student email?
We usually recommend that we use both.
Yeah.
Okay, so type in both. So this is just if you're doing it in your app, because I am actually in the app just showing you what the topics are and the different permissions and things. So I'm going to go ahead and create the topic, and then your topic is ready. And you wouldn't need this if you're doing it in Canvas. So I'm just going to go ahead and click out. But now I see that I have my topic here. Okay. So let's go ahead and actually create a topic through Canvas so that you can see what that part looks like. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my assignments. And I'll add an assignment here. And now that we have added that integration, it is going to come up as one of our external tools to go ahead and add our assignment. So we can create the same assignment, winter break, and then submit a video about what you are looking forward to. Okay, and then we can put our points in here. Oops. and assignments and display as points. And now we can click external tool. And we're going to go ahead and find it. It will be here now that we added the integration, but if you were just to click on it without doing the integration, you will not see Flipgrid as one of your choices. So I'm going to click select, and then I'm going to leave it open, but I'm going to go ahead and save and publish. Give just a second. And there it is. I've created a topic already in Flipgrid. And it's asking me if I want to create a course group for your first time so that they can automatically show in SpeedGrader. And that's perfect. So our discussion here, create a course group. There we go. It automatically generates the topic for you in Canvas assignment, and then they're able to click on the record a response down here, right? And then submit a video on what they're looking forward to. So it leaves everything as a one-stop shop. And you still do have the ability as a teacher to go ahead and edit your topic within Canvas. So if you wanted to go back and change it, you have the ability to do that there. Or you can delete the topic and then update the topic down here and set your permissions. And so then our students are going to start this discussion and then record a response, okay? We do have videos on the LTI integration piece and how to make sure that that is connected for you, and also some different features that Flipgrid has. So let's go ahead, and if I were a student, I'm going to go ahead and look at what that assignment would look like in student view using the little glasses up here at the top right-hand corner. And it's going to bring me to that assignment. And there's the title, winter break, submit a video about what you're most looking forward to. And then I can go ahead and record my response. And if I had selected them to allow them to do that, then it would give me, oh no, now I'm not going to be able to show you what that looks like on my camera because my camera is being used for Zoom right now. But there are different options that the students can pick and choose. Maybe if I have one of I can invite you guys to this class, or maybe when we go to our assignments, if you are in your Tectosa, let me get out of this, leave student view. If you're in your Tectosa course, again, you can actually go and see what that would look like for student view by going to assignments in Tectosa course. And if you click on Flipgrid, then you have access to see what that would look like for the student, okay? So the best thing about this though, is that it is in SpeedGrader for you as a teacher. So I just wanna quickly show you what that's gonna look like. If I go ahead and go to SpeedGrader, I could see that some of you, this was previous before, but it's going to show your grade, and you are able to play that Flipgrid right there within your SpeedGrader. Maggie, thank you for completing one, so I could use you as a guinea pig for this. And then you're able to grade here out of 10, how many points, and then submit. And it's really a neat tool to be able to have that as your grading right within Canvas. So really good idea to attach your Flipgrid together with your Canvas course. Like I said, lots of different things to be able to use. And I don't know if anyone else, Ricardo, I'm not able to show my,
do you want me to
share
share my
what the
screen
student,
and they can see it?
That'd be great. Thank you. I'm going to stop sharing.
So let me share the audio too. So this is what it looks like. You want to walk them through, Christina?
Yeah, perfect. So if you click record as a student, it's going to go ahead and share some, let's see, I don't see there we go. So at the bottom left-hand corner, you have the ability to do some different options with your video. So if you want to click that, you have the option to upload a clip that you've already recorded. You can use your microphone only, right? If you want to change your video, you're able to mirror your video. You can mute yourself, and then you can also record your screen.
So think about our issues with the record media that we're having with Canvas right now, where our students are not able to submit. This will be a great tool to use. So until we wait for a solution with Canvas using Flipgrid.
Thank you. And then also one of the really neat things is the effects as well. There are filters, which is great. You know, we know our students like that. If they're doing some sort of report, they have the frames and the emojis there to make it, you know, a little bit more fun for them and interactive. Emojis are neat too. There's lots of different ones there. They can share their emotions, move them around on their screen, make them bigger or smaller. They can add text. And this text feature is really, really neat when, you know, you want your students to personalize things, or you want them to actually, you know, interact with something that you've asked them to do. One of the things that they could do is draw as well. They have the ability to change the thickness if you're wanting them to, you know, write out some different things. But my favorite one though, Ricardo, I think is that board one. That is really neat to be able to have a whiteboard where the students are able to type, and, you know, there's lined whiteboards, there's math as well. And then they can split the screen. So if they're talking at the same time and, you know, they're showing you, I'm thinking about math right now, and you're doing like a number talk, to have students do a number talk and have them be talking over what they're saying and what they're writing and what they're typing to really show what they know, I think is a really great feature. So many different things other than just recording a response and submitting it with Flipgrid. You have a lot of different tools there for you to use as the student. So thank you, Ricardo, for bringing that up. I don't know why my thing wasn't working, but I appreciate that. And so hopefully you're wanting to use Flipgrid in the classroom, and I'm going to actually post a link in our chat for 50 different ways that you can use Flipgrid. I found some really neat ideas there. So thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on, and Gabe's going to move us through our next portion of the training.
Thank you, Christina. So as we transition, I kind of was thinking about a lot of what we've already seen thus far. And by and large, what we're going to be talking about next is Badger. And kind of like, I want to make sure we understand the why. Why would we even want to talk about this next app? And I think it's important because we hear, whether it's in the media or even if you read kind of blogs and things, there's a lot of issues of student engagement and student kind of morale. And we want to provide opportunities for our kids to be a little bit excited about doing work. Now, I'm not saying that this is, in terms of what we're going to look at, Badger going to kind of cure everything, but I definitely think it's one place or one avenue that we might kind of take a look at if we're not already doing so, which is how can we motivate students to want to complete assignments or complete modules, in our case with Canvas, and just kind of want to get the work done. And one of those possibilities is through awarding virtual badges. And so that's what we're going to be looking at for the last portion of our training is how to use Badger to be able to provide students with some possible motivation to kind of want to complete things, so they're getting rewarded through the virtual badge that they're going to be getting. So the first thing we're going to do is very, very similar to what we just did with Flipgrid, which is to basically set up the app. And so you kind of need two things. You're going to want to go to obviously a Canvas course, and then you're obviously going to want to go to Badger. And I'm going to go ahead and place that into the chat. So if you want to just go to Badger, because what we're going to do is kind of connect or create our account, if you will, syncing it up to our 365. So it's not as if we're creating something from complete scratch, but we're basically going to connect our Canvas account like we did with Flipgrid with our, in this case, our Badger accounts that we're going to set up through Badger. So let me go ahead and place that link for you to go to Badger. I'm going to screen share as well, so you can see exactly what you're going to do. So once you get into Badger, you're going to want to click on create an account. And it already knows that I'm in the United States or US. I'm going to save and continue. And I'm connecting again with my Office 365 from the district. So of all the options we have to be able to connect accounts, we're going to select Microsoft 365. And then we're going to click on our account. Now, if your account's not there, please select use another account, and then go ahead and enter your district username and password. So I'm going to end that share because I've already done that. But once you have processed that next step, you're going to be faced with a screen that looks a little bit different, and it'll look like this. And one of the biggest things is, and you can do this either inside of Badger or at the website, or you can do this inside of Canvas, and that is to basically create an issuer. So once you have connected that account with 365 or Microsoft, you're going to get an opportunity to create a personal issuer. Now, I'm not going to do that just yet because simply by connecting my 365 account, just like we did for Flipgrid, we're going to be able to pull some of those special access codes. So now we're going to go into our Canvas course, and we're going to be able to install that app. So I'm going to go ahead and go to our course here. And just like we did for Flipgrid again, I keep saying that just because I want to make sure you understand a lot of what we are doing spills over into other areas. So when we go to settings in our Canvas course, if you're not already there, please go to apps. And then in this case, you're going to want to find the Badger app. Now, when you first get here, you may be unsure which one you want to click on because there's a few different options. And I know you're going to say, well, the country, right? Well, there is a Badger US and there's a Badger Pathways United States. We want to be sure to select the one that says US. So it looks like that, Badger US. And I'm going to click Add App. And again, just as we saw previously for the other apps, there's a consumer key and a shared secret. And so I'm going to go back. If you recall, we were at our actual website. Here it is for me. In the top right, there's a little silhouette of a person. You're going to select on that and find where it says App Integrations from the dropdown. Again, I went from the Canvas course to the Badger actual website, and I'm doing that to be able to obtain those codes that it's asking me for. So App Integrations, and then Canvas LTI. Now, when you click on that, right away, you should see the codes that you're needing. The first one is the consumer key. I'm going to go ahead and copy that. I'm going to go back into my Canvas course, and there it is asking me for the consumer key. I'm going to paste that. And then I'm going to go back to the Canvas course, and it's asking me for the shared secret. And there it is. I'm going to copy that as well. And then go again back to Canvas. I'm going to paste that there as well. And once I've done both of those two codes, I'm going to click Add App. Now, one of the things I think for many apps that we install, you have to go over to where it says at the top your navigation and drag it up into your course so that the students can actually see it and you can interact with it. And in Badger's case, you don't need to do that. Simply by clicking refresh, you'll see there should be in the course navigation, in my case at the very bottom, it says badges. And so that's where you and your students are going to interact quite a bit with the app. So that's one of the things I kind of felt is interesting. A lot of times you have these two places. Should I go to the website or should I be going to Canvas and interacting with it there? And in this case, there's not much reasons for you to have to go to the actual website. There's only one exception, and we'll talk about that in a moment later. But again, once you get into syncing up your two accounts in terms of your Badger account as well as with your Canvas course, you can come here. Now, it's going to typically ask you to authorize. I've already done that. But if you're the first time doing this, most likely you're going to have to authorize to be able to say, yes, I'm granting access to Badger. Now, I talked about this a moment ago, which is the issuer. So you're going to have to create an issuer. And I think what's interesting is when I was first doing this, I said, well, who's the issuer? Am I the issuer? Is the issuer a district? Is the issuer my site? And technically, it could be any of those things. When we talk about creating an issuer is just the entity that's going to manage all of these badges. So I'm thinking to myself, well, what if I'm working with my colleagues? And maybe we're a 5th grade team, or maybe it's a middle school department or high school. Maybe we want to award badges, but we want to have some of the same, continuity. We want our kids to have the same badge for blank filled in. You can actually create accounts or an issuer account, and all of those badges that you create can be shared there. And so that if, let's say, for example, I'm making some badges this week, and maybe a colleague is making some badges next week, we can all work within the same place. And so it's not as if I'm going to have to share each individual badge with my colleagues. Just the simple fact of using the same one issuer account, if you will, you're going to be able to make an interchange actual badges here. So I've already selected or created some of these, but I'm going to walk us through how to do that because I want to make sure you feel comfortable doing that. So that's create an issuer. And you can create multiple issuers, but the thing is you're going to only be able to have one issuer account connected with your course. So in my case, I already created this weekend the Tectosa one, and I created one for my own class, Mr. Ward's class. Once I've created those issuers, and I can do more than one, but I can only connect one issuer account with my actual Canvas course. So issuer name, let's say, for example, I wanted it to be my school. let's say, whatever the name of your school site might be, and you provide a little quick description of what it is. Grade level team. Website URL. For this one, typically you might want to just pull the actual Canvas course. So let's say, for example, my Canvas course is this entire thing, or it might be just be this course right up to here. And then a contact email, your district email. I've read and agree. Oh, I must be, I pulled the wrong website URL. Let's try this again. All right. So here's the new one I just created. It says my school. Move this out of the way. So I'm going to select this issuer. And I'm inside of Canvas doing most of what I need to do. And now you can see there's some of the different modules. And we'll talk about how you're going to be able to use Badger. But the first thing we just kind of walked through, which I think is by and large the most important, which is kind of connecting and setting up your account. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to do so, which is, again, what did I do? I went to Badger. I kind of connected the Microsoft account. And then I used that website in Badger to be able to pull both the shared secret key and the consumer key. And then I added that app inside of my Canvas course. So I'm going to give you about 2 minutes to go ahead and set that up. And that's all I want you to do is just set it up. We're not making badges yet. We're not awarding anything yet. We're just kind of connecting those two accounts because I don't know that many of us have yet.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I tried what you did with the copying the link and it gave me an error. So did you do the whole thing?
When you say the link, I'm sorry, which link are you referring to?
For website URL, I'm sorry.
So you're talking about once you've already shared the safe secret key, you've already added the app, and now you're at the point of trying to create the issuer. Is that what you're asking? Yeah. So I just pulled the entire URL from the actual Canvas course that I was inside of.
So all the way to tools, external, everything.
Initially, I had pulled it because I don't think you need to necessarily pull all of that. I know because this is specific to this one page. Let's say, for example, you don't see my screen, I know, but if I was on my home screen, for example, the entire URL is going to be slightly different, right? So if I would probably say it would be best, in my opinion, probably to pull just from the entire homepage URL. But if you're already there, you can pull the entire thing because this isn't going to dictate mostly what you're doing.
Thank you.
Of course. So with regards to the consumer key, you're going to pull that, and I'll share it again, from the actual website. So you do have to interact with both places. You're interacting this first go around with Canvas, as well as with the actual Badger website. So again, you're going to go to the Badger website if you're not already there. You're going to come to the top right corner where you see the silhouette of a person, click on App Integrations, then select Canvas LTI. And once you've done that, you should see the consumer key as well as the shared secret key. Let me give you about 45 more seconds to do that. And if you didn't finish, that's okay. I just want to make sure, at least for those of us wanting to set that up here while we're all together. All right, if you hadn't yet finished that, you're going to have to be able to do that at a later time, but I do want to keep us moving along. So one of the things I talked about, and we just kind of had to do it, was not really a choice here, was to be able to navigate both those two places, which is what? The Badger website, as well as the Canvas course. Now, I want to briefly talk about what would be the benefit of using the Badger website, and really tell you the truth. After you do this one thing, for the most part, most of what you're going to do, you can operate with inside of your Canvas course. But for the initial thing that I'm going to show you, which is kind of like what would be the difference, is if you wanted to work with a grade level team or colleagues or a school site to be able to grant access to all share the same issuer account. And so how would you do that? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So right now we're in Badger, okay? And I've already kind of created my issuer account, right? So let's just say it was, for example, this one, I'm sorry. It gives you an option where you see at the top right here where it says staff. And when you select staff, here's where you can add people to be able to work with your account, if you will. So if you click add staff, you're given options in terms of what powers or what type of control you're going to provide for them. So let's say, for example, you want to provide, maybe it's another grade level colleague and you're working together and they want pure access to everything. Then the very first option, which is owner, and that's to say that they are going to have the ability to remove what you already have added. They can add their own badges. They can make changes at free will. So that's the highest level of actual sharing, if you will. The next one is editor, which in my opinion is probably what you're going to want to add most of your either team and or people that you are sharing things with. And that's because that doesn't mean they can remove things, but more so they can just add to what you already have. So they can make changes, but they're not going to be able to delete maybe some of your hard work. And then at the very lowest level is staff member. And that's to say, maybe it's your entire school that has this account. Maybe it's your entire school that's created it and they're making all the badges. They don't want you to have to work and make anything yourself, but maybe they just want you to be able to share with your students or provide this with your students. So this is just saying, I can take what's there. I can't add to it. I can't make my own, at least in this particular account. And remember, you can have different issuer accounts, but the one thing you cannot do is have different issuer accounts connected with your Canvas course. So while you can make different actual accounts in terms of the issuers, it's going to be that one account that you select as the issuer to be synced up with your Canvas course. All right, so I can confirm, because I did actually add the rest of our tech team here, that the recipient would receive an email. Be sure to use the district email. And once you do that, they'll be able to see what is the privileges or what you've granted them access to. All right, so that's the one big reason why you might want to use the Badger website. Outside of that, and most of what we're going to take a look at next is through the Canvas course, because I imagine you want the one-stop shop. What can I do when I'm here? So I'm going to go back to my Canvas course. I'm going to click on badges and talk about kind of what are you talking about badges? Like how is this going to work? How are my students going to get them? What does it even look like? And one of the biggest things you need to understand is that for the most part, it's based on modules. So while yes, you have the ability to board a student, maybe let's say at the end of your entire course, at the end of the school year, most of us are going to want to provide that ongoing kind of motivation, that ongoing reward, if you will, for, hey, I completed something, here's what I get as a result of that. And so it shows you right here, and right now I have 0 badges, but these are the names of the 2 actual modules in this course. So I have Canvas Apps and Enhanced Student Experience. I'm going to come down here to the bottom right here and drop down, and I'm going to create a new badge. Now you can make badges here, and I will show you how quickly and how, for the most part, user-friendly that is. But note, because it is so user-friendly and because it is right here, it's somewhat limited in terms of what you're afforded. So you have a badge studio, which I'm going to go and click on here. And here it gives you the options in terms of the design. So again, I haven't made anything yet. I'm just going to find something I like. Let's say it's this one. I can come to the top and I can select any color. Let's say I wanted to use, keep it festive, I'll use red. And then I'm going to come down to where it says graphics. So I just selected the shape and the color. That was my first thing. And now I'm at graphics. And these are the options that it gives me. Again, not as many options as you might want, or maybe you'll just want the basics set up, but this is what it gives me here in terms of my options. I'm going to use this tree, and I want to change the color of the tree. Let's say I want to make it green, and there you go. I have created now with shape, step 1, color, of course, my graphics, select one of the ones that are here, and now I'm going to click save. I'm going to give my badge a name. Whatever name you want to give it, a description, and then you could provide here where it says you can either provide words or a URL for what they need to have done or completed to be able to receive this. Now, you don't need to concern yourself too much with this because we're going to say at what point are they getting it. And right now we've already kind of started because we've been saying which module it happens to be for. Let's see, it's winter. No, not winery, winter holidays. All right. And there's my new badge. Now I'm going to talk about where your students can access this and how they earn it. But first, I want to talk about what is the other way, and then really this part is really open. There's a lot of different other ways that you might choose to create badges. But being that we saw earlier, if you recall, when you first started with Robert, we had looked at Adobe Spark. I kind of figured, why don't we kind of build on that and see how you might use that? Really, I would consider also user-friendly, but it is outside of Canvas to be able to contribute and make some things. So I'm going to place real fast here. This is just the Adobe Spark site. And then technically, even though I know we have our accounts and we already walked through that already, you don't need to have set up an account per se to do what this next step is. So I'm going to go ahead and place this inside of the chat. And this is just a link to this. You technically could just Google Adobe Spark badges and you'll find the same place. But I just want to show you how you might use what they already have and how quickly you might be able to manipulate and kind of build off. Now, I know technically you could start from scratch to make a badge. I understand that. But I want to make sure we understand how you might use what's already out there so you're not having to necessarily reinvent the wheel. So I'm here. I'm at this website. I can click on this icon or I can click the Start Now for free. Either way, and we'll see how quickly you might be able to take what's already there to make a badge. Now, one of the things I will say this is if you are making a badge, please make sure you try and use a square image. What I've read in some of the actual stuff from Badgers, they say that's the preferred actual layout, if you will, format. So click on square, click next, and this gives me options. I might upload a file or a photo, sorry, or select one of these here. I'm just going to skip that. I'm skipping that because I want to look at what are some of the badges they already have. So it already knows I want a badge. So it pulled this up. And so here are all of the options of some of the badges that are there. Now, I'm not saying that this is, going to be exactly what you're looking for, but this is just kind of a building block, if you will. So let's just find anyone you're thinking, hey, I might want to take that and run with it and build off of it or modify it, if you will. So here it is. I found this one. I'm going to use this template. And what I like about it is how I would say how straightforward it is. So I can just simply click on words and make changes to this. So I'm not going to have a French restaurant for my class. I'm not going to have where they're doing culinary chef stuff. But I do want to take this foundation, if you will, and add to that. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this word right here, double click on it, and I could change it. So instead of and I don't know how to pronounce that, I'm just going to change it to the reader. So when my students are completed and doing things for reading, they're going to get these type of badges. So I'm going to say done. Right? And I say, okay, well, I don't want them to have French restaurant there. And this image doesn't necessarily spark what I'm thinking about when I hear the reader. So I'm going to click on this image and you have options. And simple one right there is just replace. Now it says right here an icon. This icon happens to be for chefs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about reading. So let me just say read. And let's see what Adobe Spark has already for their icons for reading. All right, so I see some options. This first one's going to work for me. And I say, oh, okay, well, you know what? I don't like the color of that. I prefer something darker. Click on color and pick any of the ones that are there, or you can simply take this and drag it to wherever you want. But again, I started playing with this fairly recently, and I'm already picking up little small things, tidbits here or there. Now, what we're doing is just taking one that's already here and adjusting it. So what else do I want? Let's say, for example, I don't need that date. I wouldn't want to add another image. I like visuals. So let me see if I can add a photo. So I'm going to click over here where it says photos. And I could upload a file. Let's say maybe there's a photo that's on my computer, or maybe I've already scoured the web and found one. Or maybe you're like me and say, hey, I'm on the spot. I just real quick want to find something real fast. What can I find? Right here, find 3 photos. I think Robert had shown us, at least when the students are working on assignments, how they might do the same. So let me just say I want books. Find a picture you're thinking you might like. I'm looking, that one will work. But you know what, there's some background in this. Honestly, when I'm looking for images and making things in general, I don't like the backgrounds that are there. What I thought was really interesting is they have this beta version of removing backgrounds. And I've tried it a few photos. Sometimes it worked flawlessly and I was amazed. Sometimes it wasn't perfect, but it's really embedded. So I clicked on my picture, it's already highlighted. And just click remove background. Oh, they weren't able to remove my background on that one. I'm gonna try one, see if that'll try one more time if that'll work. Told you I had some success with it and some not, but what I thought was cool is it kind of, if you've ever searched the web for pictures, sometimes you look for transparent images, at least I do. Let me see if I pull something else. Click on this one and let's try this again, remove background. Watch, it's not gonna work. I promise you it does. And there it did, it removed the image that I wanted, the background. And there you go. I have my new badge that I've made, the reader, and how you're saying, well, how do I get this over to where I need to in my actual Canvas course? You're gonna download it. Again, I just built off what was already here. I made some quick changes to it. I'm gonna click download. And the preferred file source is a PNG, which is just the format, right? So I'm here, it's already first defaulted to PNG, and I'm gonna click start download. Oh, I realized, oops, I didn't name it. You don't need to, but if you wanted to give it a heading, let's just say the reader is what I want it to be called, or reading, reader. And now I'm gonna click download. If you didn't give it a name, that's fine. You'll know because it's in downloads, it's the last thing you downloaded. Gives me an option. Do I want a transparent image? Sure, let's do that one. Or do I want the solid PNG? I'm gonna go with transparent. Like I said already, I do prefer the transparent images. And it's in the process of downloading it. And now I can go back to my Canvas course. And let's say, for example, I said, oh, you know what, for this other module, I want a different one. So I'm gonna click on this, create new badge. And you notice it does kind of keep track of all the badges you have. So if you maybe, let's say, for example, wanted to keep issuing whatever one it is that you use for most of, maybe it's a type of homework, or when you complete all of your this week's module, whatever you want, you can have and pull from the same list. I'm gonna click create new. And it says right here, use Badge Studio. We already did that. What's the other option? I'm gonna upload a square. And technically, if you look down here, it downloaded it. It's as simply as dragging and dropping it. And there it is. Or I could click on search and find it from my downloads. I do need to give it a name. Badge description, whatever you want, a criteria, whatever you want, and click create. And there you go, there's my new badge. So we've just shown you how to be able to use one from the Canvas Studio or the Badge Studio inside of Canvas, which again, little less work on your end, but limited in terms of what you're afforded. And then you could also go, and there's a lot of places I was perusing, and I know in the video that Ricardo had shown, and you can see that as well if you want more information on Badger. He used on Google, and he imported some of his emojis or some of his little characters, his Bitmojis. So you can do a lot of different things with regards to how to bring in your own badges. But I just thought since we already looked at Adobe, we might check that out again. So this is all great, but now we don't know necessarily how are my students going to get it. And so I want to talk about that for the last portion because I think that's important. We've made badges, but how do your students get access to it? And so we've looked at real fast here where we talked about how to pull it in, but let's go to about your kiddos, how they're going to be able to get it. So your students are going to get it one of two ways. Either first is they're going to be able to complete everything you've done. And once they complete everything you've done in the module, then they're going to be able to come over to where it says badges. Let me go ahead and go to my students end. And you can see by coming to badges, this is what your students would see. A little bit different than our interface, right? Here they know that there are two badges. They're grayed out. They don't have them yet. But they know that when they complete this, in this case, Canvas Apps module, or if they complete this one, the Student Experience module, that these are what they have the opportunity to get. So I think for our students, the quickest or the least work that they would need to do is just come over to click on badges. So once they click on badges, if they've completed anything, the badge will be shown here, okay? They can view details and they could download the badge itself if they wanted the image. Maybe they want to tack it onto wherever they might want to put it, or maybe onto their computer, but that's where they would do that once it has been completed and they've been awarded it. What's the other way that the students can be able to get it? And this is where I think is a little bit more tricky, And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I will tell you it does require more work from the teacher's end. And that is to be able to leave student view. And that is for you to be able to place it at the end of the module with an external tool. So if I go to modules, see, and let's say it was, for example, this Canvas apps one. I'm going to click on add. And instead of adding an assignment, I want to add an external tool. And I think this would probably be my suggestion maybe for older students or for kiddos that are comfortable being able to pull it themselves. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to find the badger. Here it is. And what that means is as your students, let me publish this as well. Go to my student view. As your students go to the module, once they're finished, they're going to get to this item here in the module, and it's going to give you an option to be able to grab the badge. But this is for students, again, having to be able to say, it's there, my teacher, and put it inside of the module, I can pull it. Now, as a teacher, if you don't do that step, all they have to do is come to badges and they'll see if they completed a module that it's actually there for them. So those are the two ways that students would pull it. I'm going to show you the two ways that the teachers are going to set that up. Leave student view. And I'm in Badger. Go back. Click on Badges from your course navigation. And from the teacher's end, there's two ways you can do it. You could simply come over here where it says progress. And I think this is a nice way for you to kind of check how your students are performing. But what you're basically telling is, I want Badger to pull and update anything that my students have completed to make sure that they get it. So even if they didn't come to badges in their actual course navigation, simply by coming to click on progress and you're clicking here, your students are going to be able to automatically get those badges that they have completed or deserve. Now you might say to yourself, oh, I see all the students here. If you have a class that's more than 35 students, you may need to come to the bottom where it says page and kind of go next to the next page to the next page. And this is, again, if you have a course more than 35 students. If there's only 35, all 35 of those students, assuming you scroll down, would actually be displayed here. And simply by you coming to click on progress, yes, you know who's gotten what, but you're also sending the message to the Badger server to say, hey, Badger, I want you to check to see if there's any kids that are deserving. Please give those deserving students the actual badge that I've created. Okay. And then the last way I want to suggest, and this is probably if you have a class that's extensive, and I don't think any of us kind of fall underneath that unless you're maybe teaching a bunch of the same type of preps, potentially middle school or high school, is just to click on where it says export to CSV. And when you click on this, it's sending an email to Badger and it's telling Badger, it doesn't matter whether I have 20 pages of 35 students each. It's going to automatically send the message for Badger to check to see, are there any students that are warranting or deserving of a badge? And if so, it will automatically generate one for them. So again, clicking on export to CSV would only be if you have pages upon pages of students. Other than that, click on progress. As soon as you look at the screen, it automatically is getting that message. Okay. All right, the last two things I want to be able to touch on, which is just the leaderboard. And that's for your students to say, let's say, for example, they're very competitive. If you wanted to be able to set that up so they can kind of keep track of who's at the top of the list, who's acquired the most badges, you would enable the leaderboard. And then one of the things I think is interesting is in terms of an anonymous way that it does it. It sets it up where you have these, what they call whimsical animals. So you have all these names. So this was Timeless Butterfly, Incredible Narwhal. So its students aren't going to see themselves. You as the teacher see both. You'll know who's at the top of the pack, if you will. But if your students are looking at it, they're not going to be able to say, oh, so-and-so's at the bottom of the list while I'm at the top. They won't know whose name. And again, it enables that. So you have to, by default, it's not set up, come to leaderboard, enable leaderboard, and your students would have access to that. So there is a lot more that we could go through with regards to Badger, but I know that we're nearing the end and I want to give opportunity for some questions. So let me go ahead and stop my share now.